All right, let's move on then. Let's move to the other teams. We'll go
Yeah.
with uh, we'll go with our friends from CONMEBOL. Ecuador finished fourth in the CONMEBOL qualifiers, which is how they qualified. They're entering their fourth finals appearance and their first since 2014. Currently, they are ranked 44th in the world, and they look to improve on their best finish ever, which is a round of 16 appearance in 2006. Led by head coach Argentinian Gustavo Alfaro, they'll bring a little bit of a South American flair to this group. The biggest news about them is that they almost got kicked out of the World Cup. Did you know this?
Yeah, that was about the Chile made like a what's it called?
Formal protest.
Yeah, because I think it had to do with Byron Castillo, if I remember right.
It was very good. Got themselves in a bit of hot water when Chile called them on it. Byron Castillo apparently they thought he had some fraudulent documents, but he played for them in 8 of their 18 World Cup qualifiers. And it took a little bit of time to dig through it, but they did get cleared and they will participate. And they've earned a lot of really impressive results. A pair of 1-1 draws against World Cup favorites, to be honest with you, Argentina and Brazil. There's nothing too outstanding about their past cup competitions. So um, in the quarterfinals of, I do believe it was the Gold Cup, they lost in the quarterfinals against Argentina and USA in 2020 and 2016, respectively. But they also didn't get out of the group in 2014 or 2018. So, with all that, they're not great cup teams. Talk to me about their last 5 games.
Sure. So, believe it or not, Ecuador is actually unbeaten in their last 5 games.
I know.
Um, they have been playing a ton of friendlies also. I've noticed that some teams have really not played much since their last cup competition or whatever has finished, but Ecuador has been busy. Uh, Starting with the most recent game, they had a 0-0 draw against Japan, and then another 0-0 draw against Saudi Arabia, a 1-0 win against Cape Verde, 0-0 draw against Mexico, and a 1-0 win against Nigeria. So let me toss in those club rankings that I worked so hard to get. Japan currently sitting at 24, Saudi Arabia at 51, Cape Verde at 71, Mexico at 13, overrated, and Nigeria at 32.
Yeah,
And
Mexico and Nigeria
agreed. Um, and if you notice one thing out of those last 5 games, they have not conceded a single goal.
That is very, very correct. Um, that's funny because that actually leads me to one of my questions before we move on to some players. Is you've got 5 straight shutouts against relatively decent teams, a couple of World Cup bound teams, by the way.
Yeah.
But there's clearly a lack of attacking ability. 2 goals in those 5 games. Should they be worried about their attacking issues or should they be confident with their defensive ability? Which would you be focused on more?
I would be more worried about the attacking, to be honest. I think the defense is definitely going to be solid, but I think it's going to be tough when you're going up against a team like the Netherlands or Senegal, and you're going against Memphis Depay and Sadio Mane. The teams that they played while being decent, they don't have that level of player in their attack. So I think that's going to be a different beast to deal with. And I could definitely see Senegal and Netherlands getting a goal or two in the game. And if you can't score in that case, you're putting yourself in a lot of trouble, especially when you have 3 games to get out. So they got to figure something out attacking wise. I don't think that they can just put all their eggs in the basket of we're going to defend super tough and just not concede any goals. They got to find a way to score.
All right. I agree. I agree with you there. I have always said, though, that good tournament or playoff teams are the teams that don't lose. Now you need to win in the group stage, but if they can get out of the group stage, nick a draw off of Netherlands and a 1-0 win here or there, then that gives them a really good advantage in the round of 16 and further, because they can get themselves to penalties and make a crapshoot, right? And I think that these guys are ready for a very deep run, because they're basically the MLS team in the World Cup. So I'm looking here, and I missed a couple of them. But this team has a massive number of MLS or former MLS players in their ranks. So just to go through a couple of them as I continue to find more, this is phenomenal. Nope. Okay, he didn't make it. So you're looking at a ton of players from MLS. The should have been in the MVP finalist category, Jose Cifuentes, plays for LAFC. Diego Palacios, also playing for LAFC. Jason Mendez, also playing for LAFC. You've got Carlos Gruezo, formerly of FC Dallas, now currently playing at Augsburg. Alan Franco, formerly of Charlotte. Xavier Arriaga at Seattle. Michael Estrada, formerly of DC United. Jordi Alcivar at Charlotte. Leo Campagna, currently on loan at Inter Miami. That's right. Gustavo Vallecilla, the center back at Colorado. And Joshua Quinones at FC Dallas. That's insane.
That is a ton.
Now, not all of those are obviously going to go, but a lot of them are still involved. I wouldn't be shocked if Campagna he wasn't in the recent list, but I wouldn't be shocked if he makes an appearance after his phenomenal little end of the season.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one player right now to really focus on, it'd be a stupid Nyan. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Something like that. Purvis?
Yeah, Purvis. My guy Purvis. Currently playing at Brighton. A very, very attacking fullback. He goes forward very well, and he gives good service. So as this team attacks, you're going to see him bombing up the wings, constantly trying to provide good service to the strikers and make sure that they get as many balls into the box, into the danger area as they can. He's going to be one to watch for sure.
Is that my cue to jump in here with mine now?
I was waiting for you.
All right, well, let me tell you about one of his good friends. And I know they're good friends because I've spoken to both of them personally.
Oh, word?
Yeah. It's his other buddy at Brighton, Moises Caicedo. Young guy, really starting to burst onto the scene, becoming a consistent player for Brighton this season. Me personally, I think he's probably their best player at the moment. And at club level, he's been playing very well. He's got a 7.1 rating, SOFR score. Plays in the midfield, so not super involved in the goals and assists. He's only got 1 goal in 11 appearances so far for Brighton. On the international front, he had a 6.82 rating in 5 games in Copa America with 1 goal and no assists. And then in World Cup qualifying, he put up a 7.06 rating in 15 games with 2 goals and 4 assists. So I would say he's been a pretty influential, important player for them in the most recent games. In those 5 friendlies that we had talked about earlier, no goals and assists for him, but I believe he did feature in all of them. So I think me personally, I think he's probably the most important player for them. And I think he's going to be a super determining factor in the midfield for how successful this Ecuadorian team is.
Sure, I agree. And I think one other person who is young but going to be tested is Piero. Oh gosh, Hincapié. Yeah, Hincapié.
Yeah, that's pretty. I feel like that was pretty okay.
That was close.
We'll find out when we get slated on TikTok.
I'm about to say people are going to ruin me, but the 20-year-old is currently a center back over at Bayer Leverkusen, and he's going to be tested here on the international stage for sure. Starting pretty much every game, he is going to be expected to really anchor down that back line. Another one where their goalkeepers aren't standing out specifically in this group. There's nobody that's like the next best Ecuadorian goalkeeper. You know what I mean? So the more they can keep players out of that area, the better they will be. So I'm really looking to see if he can hold his own and really establish himself as a legitimate center back at the international level. I think he's done more than enough at Bayer Leverkusen to at least earn that spot that he's at. He's got 4 Champions League appearances, 9 Bundesliga appearances. Just in this season alone, he scored a goal. So he's clearly earned it at the club level, but now he has to go do it on the international stage as well. So anybody else you want to talk about?
Nope, I had those 3 on my list.
Yeah, you didn't have Carlos Gruezo, former FC Dallas midfielder.
I did not. I limited mine to 3 players.
I did too. I actually threw mine in at the very end there because one of them I put one of them as a player who really needs to step up, and it was any one of their goalkeepers, whoever plays, because they need to have really strong performances against Mane and Depay if this team wants a chance. But Carlos Gruezo, the biggest thing for him is he's got to stay out of yellow card trouble. Anybody remember him in FC Dallas? Is the dude was just constantly on a yellow. So especially in a game where 2 of them gets you kicked out for a 3rd game, you can't be getting yourself stuck like that. So the preferred system, I believe, for them is going to be kind of like a 4-3-3. You know, the 4-3-3, 4-5-1 flip flops, whatever. Like I mentioned, their goalkeeper situation right now, I have it split between Galindez and Dominguez. Either one of them can take it. Galindez has the experience, as well as Dominguez, so either one of them can step in and do well. In the back, I've got Castillo on the right-hand side with Hincapié, Arboleda, and Estupinane. In the midfield, I've got Gruezo, Caicedo, and Alan Franco, who can be interchanged with our good buddy MVP caliber Jose Cifuentes. It depends on if they want to look more attacking and more settled. And then up front, I've got Plata, Michael Estrada, and Roman Ibarra from oh gosh, what is it? Is that Pachuca? Yeah, it is. It's Pachuca. I think those guys are going to see, again, the Gruezo is going to do a lot of the damage. Caicedo, Franco, or really there are a lot of people that can be put in there, but I'll again use Cifuentes as the example. Those guys can pick up that ball, drive it forward, find it into the space behind the back line, get them running back at their own goal. Pace is going to be their friend. It always has been. Be interesting to see how they utilize that best.
Sorry, I missed who your attackers were. Can you do your front 3 again?
Yep. So Gonzalo Plata, the right winger from Valladolid, excuse me. Michael Estrada, former DCU striker, currently at Atlas, Toluca. Hold on. Where'd he go? Toluca. Cruz Azul. Mexican teams. And they're all bad to me. It doesn't matter. And then Pachuca's Romario Ibarra, excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I think my team is almost exactly the same. Couple of, I think only a few differences I had were at center back 2, I had Jackson Porozo there, considering he had played the last 3 friendlies for them. But it could potentially be the guy that you had mentioned at center back too. So
Right. You could also get Felix Torres in there.
Yeah. That could rotate, I think.
Yeah, you can get William Pacho. There are tons of players that can jump into that spot, and that's one of the reasons why picking the 11 was going to be so hard.
Yeah.
And it all depends on who's in form, who's healthy, and who can make a difference on the day. Enter Valencia could play in that striker spot instead of Estrada. You've got Leo Campagna who can go into that spot. You've got Mendez who can go in and hold down a center back spot. You got Angel Mena who can play on the right wing spot. I mean, there are tons of players. This isn't like a Qatar where you've got kind of the starting 11 and then the others. This team has a lot of depth that you can interchange with, and it'll be interesting to see if they get the decisions right, if Alfaro gets the decisions right on the day. That's where it's going to come down to.
Yep. Yeah, not too much other in terms of changes. I had put Cifuentes in instead of Alan Franco. But yeah, I know you mentioned Cifuentes as a potential swap and option as well. And then up top, I put Ener Valencia or Michael Estrada. I think either one of them could start up top.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Picking the 11 is tough. Really, picking the 26 would have been easier to say, okay, these guys are definitely in, and the starting 11 is to be desired. Right, because this starting 11 isn't going to be the same one that happens in game 2. Nobody's going to have the same starting 11 for all 3 games.
Yeah, I hear you.